Nurgle is the Lord of Decay, who presides over physical corruption and morbidity. He is the father of plagues, and putrefacients are attracted to him like flies to a rotted corpse. For his amusement, he devises foul contagions that he inflicts upon the mortal world, the result of which greatly fascinate him. Nurgle's gaze thus drawn to those mortals bloated with sickness, and he generously favors those who spread disease in his name. To Nurgle, every rattled corpse is a welcoming nursery for wriggling maggots and cloying plague spores. Every stagnant lake and rotting forest is a paradise in which parasitic larvae and bountiful poxes can flourish. These are the gifts that Nurgle lavishes upon the mortal realms, and if there is malice behind his generosity, it is directed only to those ingrates who try to decline his offerings.
Hello, all you wonderful listeners. It is I, Nobbler G, and welcome to Nurgle November, a lore study of all things Nurgle in the Age of Sigmar setting. This series will take us through what we know and do not yet know of Nurgle and all of his followers leading up to their awesome release this December. So please, sit back and enjoy this look into the Plague Father's world of corruption in the series brought to you by Grimdark Live, called Nurgle November.
Let us wrap up our study of this generous god with a reflection of Nurgle, Lord of Decay. Known also as Nurglich, Onagal, Nigelin, Grandfather, and by many other titles, Nurgle is the Lord of Decay. It is he who unleashes famines and pestilence upon the world, and so it is to Nurgle that mortals turn when they wish protection from the ravages of disease, age, and the inevitable decline brought by the passing of years. When the crops are spoilt, when a child falls feverish, and when wounds begin to fester on the field of battle, supplications are offered to Nurgle for him to stay his hand. To his followers, Nurgle appears as a massively bloated creature, festering with boils, poxes, and surrounded by dark clouds of flies, each of which carries the symbol of the god upon his carapace. His skin is rent and torn, and from his exposed guts spill the Nurglings, the spiteful mites of Nurgle. Nurgle is said to delight in every new pox, every unique rash and blister, and of all the gods, he takes the most interest in the plights of his mortal followers. Nurgle is portrayed as a kindly, almost jovial god, often known as the Father or Grandfather Nurgle. While foolish non-believers may moan and gnash their teeth and pull their hair when plague sweeps the lands, and villages and towns tumble into ruins, those dedicated to Nurgle laugh to see the great work of their master. They have accepted the futility of defying Nurgle and the inescapable dilapidation that he brings, and instead embrace the delights of decay and disease, the pleasures of entropy and ruin. He bestows his gifts of pestilence and decay with a generous spirit. Nurgle's champions, ravaged by disease, are themselves protected from such plagues, for they become inured to the pain and discomfort. And while their bodies may corrupt, the spirit of Nurgle sustains them when lesser mortals would die. Thus the champions of Nurgle can endure wounds and afflictions that would cripple others, and yet still fight on in his name. They are horrific to look upon, more so even than other champions of chaos, for their peeling flesh, their stomachs bloated with corp gases, and their charnel stench is a reminder of the fate that awaits all living creatures. From the grandfather and myself, I'd like to say thank you for taking this journey down a very stinky road in the study of Nurgle with Nurgle November. And do please like, subscribe, and share this series with others. Thank you.
Hello, Gamer Goons. I know this final piece for Nurgle November was released in December, but better late than never, I suppose. But I wanted to send a real thanks to all of you for watching and listening to this little tidbits on Nurgle. And of course, all of this ahead of the Nurgle release for 3.0 Age of Sigmar. Thank you all very, very much. Specifically, I'd like to thank Mr. Paul Conti. I like to refer to him as Mr. Nurgle himself. He really is an inspiration, and he was a great inspiration to this Nurgle exercise. And if you don't know who Paul Conti is, he's the person behind Radio Free Hammer Hall. You can check him out on Twitter at PMC Mathhammer. Again, that's at PMC Mathhammer on Twitter. I'll have a link to his YouTube page below. Go check him out. And Paul, thanks for being a real disgustingly awesome dude. Keep up the great work. But also, as notable mention and another great thank you, I'd like to shout out to Oscar Lars Painting Studio and also, of course, 2+ Tough, a couple of other great representatives of Nurgle's generosity. But again, a real heartfelt thank you to all of you Dice Chuck and Glue Sniffing Gamer Goons out there for being an awesome part of the Grimdark Live experience. We are going to be back in the new year, so look out for the new show. And see you next time. So thank you. So with that, a final word from the grandfather.
Remember this, my little pimples. The grandfather loves you. Let me blow you a kiss.